welcome to my kitchen for a James Bond special of Mixology Masterclass where we're going to make some of the best cocktails from the James Bond films. Very excited about it. And we've got people joining in live as well, and I know they have because I've sent them the booze. I've sent them the stuff to go through it. Hi Claire and Lizzie. Hi, give me a little wave through the magic of the internet. So, let's get into it. Let's just get started. This is just how it goes. We just go straight into it. That's how I like it. So we are going to let's make a mojito first. Probably because it's one of my favourites. So James Bond had a mojito in Die Another Day. I'll be honest, I don't remember which one that was. I don't remember which one the James Bond was. I meant to look it up before we started, but... Huh?
Madonna.
What? No. Okay, so let's have a little look at this. So we've got some mint leaves. We've done a mojito one before. I've already picked these. I've got about 10 or 12 mint leaves in my glass here. So we need to bruise these a little bit, but I'm not going to do that yet. When I say bruise them, you've got to be kind of gentle with these mint leaves. You can't be like mashing them down so they start ripping up and tearing. You want them to hold their integrity, but you also want some of the flavour to kind of leak out of it. If you just build it on top and stir it, I don't think that's enough. Some people like to get the mint leaves and give them a clap like that. I don't think that does it enough either. I think it's fine, then it's nice when you do it like that, but it's just not quite minty enough. So, let me just show you what I like to do. I like to add the sugar, and I like my cocktails to be a bit grainy, so you could use sugar syrup if you don't like it grainy, but I like the texture of the sugar in here, so I'm going to go for a fair amount. I've got brown sugar, and I like the texture of it. So I've got two teaspoons of brown sugar in there. And then I get my muddler, or you can use like the back of a wooden spoon or even just the back of a normal spoon, and I just kind of roll these mint leaves around the glass and kind of push the sugar into them. I'm not being that hard, look, it's just with my fingertips, just moving them around just a little bit, like that. It smells so good, it smells so fresh. There we go, so we've got mint, we've got sugar in there. Then I like it super limey, so I have at least the juice of half a lime. So if you want to chop your lime up into wedges, squeeze and drop them in, that works for me. I've got a Mexican elbow here, boom, like this, so I can like get a half a lime, put it in there and squeeze the juice out like that. There we go. And I'm probably, because I like it limey as well, I've got some lime wedges, I'm going to squeeze one in there as well, just so that we've got one in the glass, and then that will be in there when it builds up, and you should be able to see it through all the ice and stuff. I'm going to go crushed ice next. I bought a crushed ice crusher because I'm doing these cocktails more and more, so it's cool to be able to have this. The little scoop that comes with it though is laughable because it takes forever to fill this up. So we've got my mint in here already, I've got my sugar, I've got my lime, I've got no booze yet. So in the film, he uses white rum, like Bacardi. I'm not into it, I don't love it. What I've got is Duppy Share, which is quite nice. It's not super expensive as Caribbean rum goes, but it's just got this little bit of a golden colour to it. I prefer those kind of caramelly flavours from my rum, the kind of charcoaly, like cutting Bacardi flavour. It's nice, I'm alright with it. I just prefer this. And like always, I'm trying to get you guys to make these cocktails how you like them. So when I added extra lime, you don't have to add extra lime. You can have less lime. If you don't like it super sour, it's fine. You could add more sugar. If you like it a little bit sweeter, you could add more sugar. We're at 50 ml of this rum in here over the top of the crushed ice. And then I'm going to add a little bit of soda water, but I'm not, because I like to make it how I like it, and this pressed apple juice, it just wins for me in a mojito. The apple and the mint, I just think it goes so well together. I know these are James Bond cocktails, but I'm still going to make the drinks the way that I like to drink them, and that's how cocktails should go. I think that it should be changeable. You should be able to change your mind, you should be able to tweak things to be how you like them. So I'm just going to add a little bit of the good apple juice, just a little bit, barely any at all, and then I get my bar spoon and I move this around. I move the mint leaves up through the drink, give it a little stir, trying to make it look pretty. And we're still not done yet, because we've got to make this look prettier again, which is important. There we go. So I'm going to top it up with crushed ice. I'm going to make a little mound on top of here. A little Mont Blanc. That's what we called it when I was training. There we go. And then I grab the prettiest looking mint sprig that I can. Give it a little tap around, give it a little lively up so that these leaves get a bit fuller. And then drop this into here. Like that. I've got some straws in here. Yes, I do. I'm still rocking the old plastic straws out there. I've got a nice pink straw, because obviously James Bond's going to have a pink straw. Of course he is. Of course he is. But there we go. That is it. That is our mojito that I've tweaked a little bit because I like apple. I like the apple. That wins for me. So good. If you make your drink and you're like, I'm not sure, then you can change it. You can add more lime, you could add more sugar. You could make it work for you. Another drink that James Bond makes in one of his films, he has a mint julep, which you can make in a very similar way. It's just with whiskey instead, with rye whiskey instead. So you just do the same, you get your mint, you give it a little bruise with the sugar, you add your ice, this time you add your whiskey, you give it a little splash of soda water on top. You've got a mint julep, and it's amazing, it's really good. I do like a mint julep as well. That is a good mojito. So, Claire and Lizzie should have hopefully made that along with me at home and caught up. I'm sure they've done it amazingly as well. We're going to now make the Vesper Martini. So, this is kind of the important one. This is the one. This is the shaken, not stirred. It was mentioned in Ian Fleming's first book, Casino Royale. It was in Casino Royale as well. The Vesper Martini. In many of the other films, he just asked for a dry vodka martini, dry gin martinis, which is cool, but that's not this. The Vesper Martini is different, and he goes into it in the film, Casino Royale, very specifically. He actually tells the guy how to make it, and then everyone around the table is like, oh yes, I'll have one of them as well. So, we get, remember shaken not stirred, we get our Boston glass, our Boston tin, because it's going to be shaken, these two go together, and we shake in the tin and the glass, and then you take it apart. If you're joining in at home and you don't have the stuff, you can shake it however you like to shake it. But let's get into these ingredients first. So, we have, it's supposed to be Keema Lillet, or Lillet. It's gone. Can't buy it anymore. Not available. Not available at all, but the brand is still here, and we've got some fortified wine, and this is actually really banging. I really, really like it. It's really floral. So fortified wine is wine that has been fortified. So if they make wine, and they kill the fermentation, normally with a bit of alcohol, so they add more alcohol to it, but that stops the wine from fermenting right there, and then they'll add like fruit and leaves and herbs and things to make it nice. Now this is really floral, so nice, so good. Just by itself, out of the fridge as an aperitif, just before you have your dinner, you automatically become classy. You probably get a suit on because you're drinking your aperitif before you have your dinner. It's amazing. So, let's get started with this. Claire and Lizzie can join in as well. You can just start making it while you're sipping on your mojito. So we've got our Boston glass, our Boston tin. I'm going to make it into the glass. Now we need, I don't know my measure, 10 ml of this. So it's only a little bit, it's only a little splash, you don't need much. It is just a bit of fortified wine. Let's go, just 10 ml, barely any, it's just a little splash. That just gives this cocktail just a little hint of aromatic flavours in there. Alright, then we're going to go for a shot and a half of gin. We've got Silent Pool gin, I really like it. It's got a glass stopper, which is cool. because you know how glass doesn't give off any flavours at all. Not that like cork or the plastic corks or anything give off any flavours into the alcohol either, but we know glass is good for keeping stuff the way it's supposed to be. It's completely like doesn't taint anything ever. It's perfect. Cork, however, not perfect. It's not infallible. You can get corked wines and it can fail in alcohol as well, in booze, in hard liquor. Okay, so we're going for a shot and a half, 37.5ml gin. Go all the way to the top of my measure, and then half again, 12.5ml. Yeah. Now we've got 25ml vodka. In the film, I think he asks, or in the book, sorry, he asks for Gordon's. Now, a lot of you might be like, Gordon's gin? But that's surely like bottom of the rung. There's like, it's the last one that James Bond would be asking for. Surely you want something more expensive, but it's legit. Gordon's is fine. There's other gins that I prefer, loads of them. But that doesn't mean that Gordon's gin isn't just a good quality gin. It's decent. You should have some Gordon's every now and again. So, we've got it. That's kind of it. We just shake it up and we double strain it into our martini glass. That is it. It's an easy cocktail to make. So, I'm going to get my tin, fill it with ice. Put that ice in there. I'm going to shake it. So, the difference between shaking and stirring, shaking completely changes the viscosity, the makeup of a cocktail. When you stir it, you don't get bubbles. It doesn't like change anything, but with this, you get a little bit more dilution. It changes things. You get little flecks of ice in there, which we're going to strain out. I'm going to double strain it using this strainer. Sorry, Claire and Liz, you didn't get a strainer. You can just single strain it. Strain this into here. This. There you go, and you'll see, if you do double strain it, you'll see all these little bits of ice here. That will change the makeup of the cocktail as well. Changes things massively. Okay. And then we get a little swipe of lemon peel. So you get your knife, you hold it up against the edge of the lemon, and I'm going to go all the way around the lemon without going through to the fruit. So I'm going to just stay with the pith. So I just start making these little sawing motions. We're going to try and keep it nice and thin. I'm going all the way around the lemon. Trying to keep it at the same width all the way around. So you need a decent knife to do this with. And I'll bang on about these tomato knives for the rest of my life for how good they are. The best knife. I only need 2 knives in my kitchen. I need this knife, a tomato knife, for doing stuff like this and for maybe chopping up like spring onions or even onions or anything. And then I need a big knife if I'm cutting up a, I don't know, button of squash or something. That's it. These are amazing. They're about £4 off Amazon. And they stay sharp forever. They're serrated. Really good. Really, really good. I'm going to neaten this up just to be classy. So I'm going to take the rough edges off like this. There we go. I'm going to square off the ends as well. Square that off like that. And there as well. Cool. So you see that? See how that's just like a nice square ribbon, little rectangular ribbon? And then I twist this over the top of the cocktail. And you should be able to see all the oils come off of this as I turn it into this little spiral. I might even rub the edge of the lemon around the outside of the glass. Now remember, this is just booze with a little bit of dilution of ice. In Claire and Liz's little hamper of cocktail stuff, I made some strawberry syrup for them. You can spoon some strawberry syrup in this. Like I said, it's a James Bond cocktail, but if you don't like drinking hard liquor, like no mixer, then make it nice, make it sweeter, add something to make it like to your taste. Try it like this for sure, but you've got that strawberry syrup in the jam jar that I gave you, you can just spoon it in. It's amazing. So good. Just, it sounds crazy. So let's just go through what we've got. We've got a tiny little bit of fortified wine, vermouth, essentially, martini. It's just Martini Bianco essentially, but it's a little bit nicer than Martini Bianco in my eyes. We've got some of that, tiny bit. Then you've got gin, you've got vodka. That's it. Just shake it up in a glass with some lemon peel. It's incredibly simple. It's incredibly boozy. You're going to get drunk if you have one or two of these for sure, but I can taste stuff. I can pick out things. There's things to think about. I just let it sit on my tongue. I can pick out all the different kind of lemony flavours going on in here. It's incredible. It's just got a little hint of something floral in the background. Cocktails like that make me excited. It's really cool making like a, I don't know, like someone says, I would just like sex on the beach, and you're like, alright, right, that's cool. It's not my favourite, it's not my style. But I can make you something that goes along those lines, something that's going to make you excited because it's got a load of big fruit flavours. You're going to taste berries, there's going to be a little bit of juice, there's going to be something. Those cocktails are great. Cocktails like that are so simplistic in their kind of four ingredients if you include lemon peel. There's barely anything to them, but they're timeless and they keep getting talked about. That's what it is. I mean, I don't enjoy a porn star martini so much. You should, if you do enjoy them, you absolutely should enjoy them. It's not my deal. It's not my style. But I think that will be more timeless. People still talk about a porn star martini, but it's attached to a character. It's got this history, and cocktails like that have a much richer history than the ones that are like, have this big punch of sugar. It's different. It's just a different thing, which is cool. That Ducky Shares rum's really good as well. Okay, let's get into some more. We've got loads of stuff to make. Loads and loads. I bought stuff especially for this because it's a rich history. There's a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about. So I did say I was going to make an old fashioned, but then I've actually never made this cocktail. I still haven't. This is brand new. We're going to make Sazerac, and it's very much like an old fashioned. If you don't, and you probably don't have the stuff to make a Sazerac, you could make an old fashioned. If you've got some whiskey, some bitters, some ice, some orange peel, some sugar, that's it. Right. So what makes a Sazerac, what made me want to do this is because it has absinthe in it. I nearly bought a bottle of absinthe, and then I thought, I don't need a bottle of absinthe. I barely drink at home as it is, and it's not cheap. So I bought a little shot of absinthe, but we're going to do some more with it as well. What you do with the absinthe for a Sazerac is, you wash the glass in it. So you get this aniseed flavour around the edge of the glass, and then you chuck the rest away. That's it. So let's give that a little go. And then afterwards I'm going to show you how to drink absinthe, because you can't just drink absinthe, or you shouldn't just drink absinthe. Has anyone got a terrible absinthe story? I do. I drank some and I threw up. That's it, really. I think it was in my little, in terraced houses. I was at university. Terraced houses, and they've got a little like wall that it's not a yard in front of it. It's just like a little gap. I threw up in there in the house, definitely, and felt very ill for about 3 days as well. So it was a long time ago. Long time ago. So I'm just going to wash the glass in absinthe, and then I'll pour the rest out. That's it. I only needed about 5 ml in there, if that. And that glass stinks of absinthe now, which is fine, because we're going to add whiskey, we're going to add rye whiskey to it, and some more stuff. So I'm going to go for brown sugar again. So I add a couple of spoons, like a spoon and a half really, of brown sugar. And then I bought these bitters especially for this cocktail as well, but I've used them before and they're amazing. It's Peychaud's bitters, and they're very red, and they're cool. They're kind of aniseedy as well, so that's definitely going to be the backbone of this cocktail. And if you ever watch me make cocktails with bitters, if I'm drinking it, it's getting a lot of bitters in it. I like these flavours. They're kind of dark. They're not, you know, umami, you know, like Marmite and stuff. I like that. And this isn't umami at all. It's not at all. But I feel like I like the same things about it that I like about things like Marmite and soy sauce and Henderson's relish and stuff like that. I've read a few different recipes. Some of them have Peychaud's and Angostura. I don't have Angostura, but I do have these aromatic bitters that are very similar. They've got a really similar flavour profile. I'm going to add these as well just to see. I'm not going to add loads, just a little pipette. And also, how cool are pipettes? So, I've got a pipette, I'm going to use it. You can't stop me using my pipette. I'm always going to use the pipette, obviously. There we go. So, I have sugar that is soaked in bitters in here. And then, I'm going to start adding rye whiskey. First, I'm going to add a fair amount of ice, about half full of ice, and then I add 25 ml of my Wild Turkey rye whiskey. I wanted Bullet rye whiskey. I think it's just a cooler brand. That's the only reason why I really hadn't tried either of these before. But they didn't have it, so I've got Wild Turkey instead. Cool. I'm going to come back to that in a second. So then I get my spoon and I move this around. Or what I might actually do as well is add a little bit of orange peel to this already. Let's see, while that sits there, I'm just going to get, same as we did with the lemon, I go all the way around the outside edge of this orange. So I've got a big long swipe of orange peel. I'm going to twist that up. I'm going to pop it in there. I'm going to stir this in with my sugar, my rye whiskey, my little absinthe wash on the glass. Smells pretty good. That like big aniseed punch is gone now. It's there, I can detect it, but it's not the main deal. It's kind of good. So see how I'm not like whisking this up, I'm just letting those ice cubes kind of roll around the whiskey, trying to pick that sugar up through the drink so I can get a little bit more dilution. You can use white sugar for that as well, by the way. Demerara, just brown sugar. I like it with whiskey. I think it just works. It's a flavour that I enjoy. Like I said, I'm all for changing cocktails up. You should change cocktails up so that they suit you. So when someone says, like, to me, I like porn star martinis, I like sex on the beach, I like cocktails that are really sugary. That's what I want. I want them to be fruity, I don't want them to taste like booze. And that for me, my least favourite style of cocktail. But I'm like, sick. Let's make cocktails that you like. Let's go through some flavours that you really like. You like passion fruit? Let's make some passion fruit cocktails. You don't like bits? Let's strain out any bits of fruit. Let's double strain everything so that it stays good. Okay. Let's keep moving this around. So I'm moving this sugar around. Oops, I dropped an ice cube. That was not very James Bond of me. I'm very sorry, everyone. I've let you all down. I dropped an ice cube. Ideally, I wouldn't have this in my hand either. I just want you to see it, because the heat of my hand is making the dilution faster. It's marginal, you won't be able to detect, but really, if I was making this in a bar for a customer, I wouldn't pick it up. I'd have it on the bar top and be talking to them like I'm talking to you, with eye contact and stuff. I think that's such important when we're talking about cocktails. There we go. So, that is us. I'm going to go for one more little swipe of orange peel, and I'm going to flambe it as well. I'm going to set fire to it. Let's see if these oranges are any good. Last time I did this at a cocktail party, it was amazing. It worked. There was like explosions of fire. Everyone like made whooping sounds. It was crazy, but can't trust oranges in this country. Who knows how fresh they are? Oh, that's not bad. It's not so bad. So I just light a flame and I squeeze that orange peel so the oils spray out across the drink, we get some cooked orange oils. There we go. I'm just going to swipe that around there, drop it into the drink. No straws for this one. Oh, that's so good. That's a Sazerac. That's my first ever Sazerac. First one I've ever made. I can taste that little hint of aniseed. It's not overpowering. It's not too much. Because if someone gave me a Pernod, I'd be like, I don't want to drink that, please, thank you. I don't need that much aniseed in my life. I don't need that much, but a little bit, I'm down. I'm happy. That's really good. And the Wild Turkey rye whiskey, it's pretty damn good as well. That's good. I think Mojito's my favourite though. No, I think the Vesper Martini is my favourite actually. I actually like that Vesper Martini a little bit more than I thought I would. Because I haven't actually made one of these before either. No, I don't think I've ever worked anywhere that's had Lillet in. I think I've made one before, but I've probably made it with Nolly Pratt, probably a different brand of vermouth. That's nice. I feel like keeping going. I feel like I can still do some more. Yeah, let's do some more. So, I'm going to make. He also had a Rum Collins. He did that in Thunderball. I do remember Thunderball. Thunderball's a good one. That's one of my favourite ones actually. I kind of liked them like that when they were a little bit more cheesy. I think I prefer it. So, Rum Collins is very similar to a cocktail called Tom Collins. Tom Collins is with gin, but this one is obviously with rum. So, I'm going to go for. See how I want to make this. So I can make this a few different ways. Yeah, I'm going to go for lime wedges, squeezed and dropped in. So I've got my, there it is. I've got my glass here. Get out of the way. That's it. So I've got my Boston glass for my Boston shaker. And I'm going to squeeze and drop in some limes and some lemons. When I say some limes and some lemons, that's very vague. I realise it's vague. I did it on purpose because you're making cocktails for yourself, hopefully. I don't want you to make it the way that you like it. And let me just go through some stuff that I'm doing here. I'm just thinking on my feet. I'm just making stuff that I want to make. If someone asks for a Tom Collins, which is the gin version of this, I'm going to just use lemons, and that's it. And I'm also going to use sugar syrup. I have sugar syrup ready. I didn't think about making any. So I'm just going to use sugar. But I would normally just use lemons, but I really like limes. I'm making this cocktail, I'm probably going to drink it. So I'm making it for me. I'm adding some limes and some lemons. Both citrus fruit. Nobody's going to stop me. James Bond can't stop me. So I went for two spoons of sugar. Needs a fair amount of sugar. I've gone for the white sugar this time in this one. Definitely white sugar in this one. In fact, I could add a tiny hint of water. Like, that was like less than 5 ml in there just to soften that sugar up. Just so that we get a little bit of sugar syrupy goodness in here. Then I go for 50 ml of the old Duppy Share rum. So measure that out for fitting. That's it. And then get my ice. Water. So that is it. I've got rum, sugar, citrus fruit. That's it so far. And I shake this up hard. So I want all of that sugar to start going into this. I don't want any grains of sugar in this really. So I've got to shake it hard. Good. And then take this. I'm going to go for some fresh ice in here. Let me see if I can do that. been a bit tight on the ice. I could have put another bag in here and only used the one. There's not much left. There we go. Cool, so I've got fresh ice in there. I'm going to strain this out. Put them in there as a little garnish. I should have got my cherries out. Garnish this one with a cherry for sure. That goes almost to the top, and then we get a little bit of sparkling water that we could have used for a mojito, but I changed my mind, so I wanted apple juice in it. It's a little tiny splash of soda water on the top. Another straw. It. Let's see. It's refreshing, rummy. It's got loads of citrus fruit. I like that. You know what I might do as well? Just because I can change anything. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter it's James Bond cocktail. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to put some Peychaud's bitters on top. A little bit of aniseedy, herbally goodness. Might change things a bit there. And it looks pretty cool as well. It's on top. It's got a little splash of colour. And just poke a few little drops of this through the drink. Yeah, looks nice. I'm into that. That's mixology. That's it. When you just like, you try something, you're like, I really like that, but I think there could be something else. And then you add a little bit of something else, and then you work it out, and then it's tasty. And then you win. You win at cocktails. So good. Right. Let me just clear a little space here so we can play a little bit with some absinthe. Bought loads of stuff for this. Just loads. I already had a suit, by the way. I'm an adult. I couldn't put together a shirt and tie and a suit. But I've got a absinthe spoon. I've only got this much absinthe to go with my absinthe spoon. But I bought an absinthe spoon. So these are pretty cool. They look quite nice, don't they? And it is literally a fancy sieve. That's what this is, really. And really, ideally, I would have a sugar cube. I don't have a sugar cube. If you go to France, if you go to Paris and you ask for absinthe, this is what they'll do. They'll put a sugar cube on here. They'll pour your absinthe over the sugar cube, so the sugar cube gets soaked in absinthe, and the absinthe is in the glass. And then they put it under a drip where they've got this cold water coming out of a tap, and it's just like dripping pretty steadily, and it'll drip over that, and it'll dilute the absinthe because it's like so high in alcohol. You can't be just drinking straight absinthe. You start chopping your ear off and stuff like Van Gogh. Can't do that. But it sort of dilutes it, and it makes it a little bit longer. Then you serve it, and then you have a delicious, refreshing, like aniseedy drink. It's pretty cool. Another way we can do this is the way that I'm going to do it. It's a little bit more flashy. Is we put our sugar onto the thing, we pour our absinthe over, we set fire to it because absinthe's very flammable, and the melted sugar drops through into the glass, and we get that same level of dilution. You don't get the same volume of liquid because you're not adding water, but you do get, and it's filled with ice as well. I'm going to have to go and get some ice out of the freezer. You do get that same level of alcohol dropping because you burn the alcohol off, which is pretty cool. All right. Do this. I'm going to put the ice cubes in first. I'm not sure if you're supposed to do that. I don't remember really. A lot of these things I've done before, a long time ago, because I don't work in bars anymore. I just do personal training and yoga and dress up as Spider-Man for a living. A lot of these like crazy cocktails, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember when I used to do that thing in that bar 20 years ago. let's just see if you can teach people that. And then I just remember what I did. I should probably do more research. But I think it's more fun like this. So, go for about a sugar cube's worth there. And then I get my absinthe and I pour it over the sugar. So some of that sugar is going to fall through with the absinthe, which is cool. And then get my lighter. Yeah, it worked. That's amazing. Right, and then that's just burning. It's dropping down, and actually we do get some water dilution because the heat of the absinthe, I can see it moving those ice cubes around. It's working. That's it. Goes pretty wild. I'm not nervous or anything. You're nervous about setting fire to stuff in your kitchen. Look at that, it's bubbling away. It's dropping. I've also got a little jug of some cold water as well here, because I kind of thought that I might need to add a little touch of water to this. That's it. It's just bubbling away. I'm going to have maybe some rum Collins while our absinthe bubbles away on there. It's kind of dying out a little bit now. It's exciting. That's pretty James Bond. It is pretty James Bond, and you've got to agree. That's pretty cool. Yes, there we go. I'm going to add like a little 10 ml of water over the top of there. That sugar looks really nice because it looks all burnt and stuff. Yes, that's it. It smells very absinthe-y. I don't know how you feel about smelling absinthe. I'm indifferent. Maybe I do remember that time that I threw up in my little front yard bit a little bit more than I thought I did. So I've got a little bit of ice, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of absinthe. Yep, you're right to make that face. And it's alright actually, you know. I'm going to add a little bit more water just to soften it a tiny bit more, like a tiny little dribble. And give it a little stir as well. Let's see what we're working with. That's alright, no. It's alright. But it's absinthe still. I mean, take me to Paris. I might have an absinthe. Maybe. If it's got one of those little drippy taps, then I'm probably gonna. I'm all in. I'll jump on board. But honestly, I'm not doing that at home ever again because that's enough. I'm really glad I only bought a little test tube that's probably like. Some sucker's been tricked into buying one of these in a nightclub before. You know it. You know that you have. Remember that when nightclubs were a thing and people used to go around with like when girls in little t-shirts used to go around with a holster of test tube shots and try and pressure you into buying them. I remember that. Those were good days, weren't they? But that is it. That is James Bond cocktails. I realise I'm not very James Bond. I'm probably too northern to be James Bond. Possibly too short as well. Who knows? Might get a short James Bond one day. Maybe. It's probably not going to be me though, is it? Alright, that is it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. We're back again next month. I haven't decided what I want to do next month. You can hit me up. You can tell me. You can tell me something you want to do. A cocktail that you love. Even revisit one that we've done before, because we've been doing this a fair while now. If you want me to go back around and explore another thing, if you want to do porn style martinis again, we can do them again. We can do margaritas, we can do daiquiris, we could do more on the grown-up cocktail stuff like martinis, like the Vesper Martini style stuff. More on whiskey, whatever you want, we'll work it out. Alright. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I appreciate you all very much. Thanks everyone. I'll see you soon. We did it. Did it. Came James Bond style. Cheers, guys. Bye.